In this video, we're going to help you if you have this mentality. I feel too young to start investing. Stay tuned. So I'm going to set up two scenarios here to help you understand the advantages of investing while you're young. So if you invest $200 a month from the ages of 20 to 29, so for 10 years straight you're investing $200 in a month, it will be $1.2 million when you retire at 65 years old. On the other hand, if you invest $200 a month from the ages of 30 to 65, so this time you're investing for 35 straight years, it will only be $615,000 at 65 when you retire. And so even though you invested way more in the one scenario, you didn't end up with near as much. And so you've probably seen those numbers before. And I think there's underlying causes of why people don't invest. And the first is people don't think they have any extra money. But I'd like to counter that by saying that people spend what they earn. When people get a raise, they find a way to spend the extra money. So as you can see, I just wrote up the 10% rule. This is a rule that I strongly believe in. And this means that if you're making $200,000 a month, you automatically take out of your checking account or out of your paycheck 10%. And so automatically you'd be investing $200 each month, and as I said before, you'd be a millionaire when you're retired. You will then find a way to live off of that $1,800. Most people do this absolutely just fine. It's just that first money has to go towards your investments. So take 10% of your paycheck each month and live off the other 90%. But what if you have debt? That's the other big question that people have that causes them to not invest, and I think this is actually a legitimate thing. There's two types of debt though: bad debt and okay debt. I'm not gonna ever say good debt because no debt is good debt. And so what is bad debt? Bad debt is your college loans, your credit card debt, and okay debt is gonna be house. But not just any house, a reasonably amount of debt for a house. So this is that 25% down payment. And so reasonable house payments, nothing that you can't handle. We're going to do bad debt, and we're going to use numbers because I love those to show how paying this off is feasible with that same 10% rule. And so instead of putting that first 10% towards investment, you're just going to put that first 10% towards debt and use a thing I like to call the debt snowball. So let's say you have $10,000 in credit card debt at 28% interest. So let's say you do what the credit card company wants you to do, and you pay your minimum payment, which is 1% of your debt plus the interest. That credit card will get paid off 30 years later. That debt is hanging over you for a long time. And you'll totally pay $22,616 just for that $10,000 you had originally. I'd call that a waste of money. But on the other hand, let's say you do that 10% rule, so you get that $200 a month plus your first month minimum, which you're paying anyways. 2 years later, you'll have your debt completely paid off, and you'd have only paid off $13,307. And so this is a huge advantage and a great way to get out of debt using that 10% rule. Because of this, you would have saved $9,000. Another thing I want to point out is that if you now use that 10% to give towards investments and live off the other 90%, you'll actually have more money to live off of because you won't be having to make any of those stupid debt payments. And so it's just a better way to live life. Live off that 90% and use that 10% to invest and pay off those debts. I, Lee Veldkamp, would like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you apply what you learned, and peace out from the Value Geek.